So we are continuing Unit 7 for the Menucha of Sir Mosmet Ifir surname Dangur. We went over briefly the Baita that seemed to say the Sifra, right? The Sifra that says there are two kinds of Shiur. When we talk about Le'ochla on the one hand, on the other hand, Lotivtso, but on the other hand, yes, Le'ochla. How is that? One of two things have to happen, presumably, or maybe both. Either it has to be, you're only allowed to eat things that are hefker, or there has to be a shinui. And the question is, what's the interplay between these two? The Mishnah says, we'll see if you do different words. Sure. So the Mishnah quoted which one? Which one did the Mishnah quote? The second one, right? The shinui. The Mishnah doesn't mention the hefker, not hefker. All right. Does that mean anything? No, that. All right. So let's see. Says the Rambam. Hakavana b'kol zeh explains this Mishnah. צריך לשנות, ושלא יתעסק בפירות שביעית כדרך שמתעסק בשאר שנים. והוא, לפי שאמר השם, ואת ענבי נזרך לא תבצעו, אי אפשר לומר שרצונו בפסוק זה לאסור הבצירה לגמרי. יותר אכילתם, באומרו, תא שבת הארץ לכם לאוכלה. לא נתכוון כאן, אלא כמו שביארו בספרה, לא תבצור כדרך הבוצרים, מכאן אמרו, תאנים של שביעית, אין קוצרים אותם במוקצה. So, what kind of shinui is the Rambam referring to? The Rambam says the focus is you have to do b'shinui. Not so clear how and why, right? So the Rambam, first of all, right, he ignores the whole hefker thing.
Or the Mishnah does.
Or the Mishnah does, correct. But now let's see the halacha, the Rambam and the halachot, and see how the Rambam explains that. So the Rambam, הפירות שהציע אילן בשביעית, לא יאספם כדרך שאוסף בכל שנה, שנאמר ואת ענבי נזרך לא תבצור, אם בצר לעבודת האילן, או שבצר כדרך הבוצרים, לוקה. כיצד עושה? תאנים של שביעית, אין קוצין אותן במוקצה, אבל מייבשן בחרבה. So first of all, what is kotzin, according to the Rambam? The processing, right? Just pointing out, right? The processing, right? Because otherwise you can't say, well, you can't pick them like that, but you can dry them like that, right? Doesn't make sense. So obviously we're talking about the processing. The next one, I think, is the most telling example. לא יעשה זיתים בבית הבד, אבל קוטש הוא ומכניס לתוך בד קטן ביותר, וטוחן בבית הבד. ובקוטב הוא מכניס לבד קטנה. לכן בשאר דברים, כל שיכול לשנות משנה. What kind of shinui is the Rambam talking about here? What is the kind of shinui? Right? It seems to be, right, a quantitative things, right? Not qualitative difference, but quantitative, right? It says you can't take it to the Beit Abad, you can take it to the small Beit Abad, right? That's why I find that the most telling one, right? Which means the Rambam, the issue by the Rambam is you're not allowed to do it commercial. When he says shinui, the issue is not, we're not talking about shinui, do it with your left hand. We're talking about you could do it, you can't do it for commercial use, you can do it for yourself, for your family, for your. That seems to be the focus. See in the Perusha Mishnah, now, as Rafi pointed out, the Mishnah itself, sorry, not Perusha Mishnah. In Perusha Mishnah, the Rambam ignored the issue of hefker, so that's very well, but also in the halachot he does. He ignores in the halachot as well. So that's a bigger tell, right? So it seems that he doesn't accept that lahalacha, right? There's no. See in Sefer Mitzvot. היא שהזהירנו מהסוף מה שהצמיחו אילנות מן הפירות, גם כן בשנה השביעית, כמו שנאסוף פירותיהם בכל שנה, אבל נעשה אותו בשינוי להורות שהוא הפקר. Right? Meaning, why do you have to allow people to pick your fruit on Shmita? Because everyone, so you're not allowed to block people. That doesn't mean you can't pick it. It just means that you're not allowed to keep it, you're not allowed to keep people away from it. All right, fine, fair enough. Now, but when you do pick it, what do you pick? a small amount to show that it's hefker. Why? Because you're taking from hefker, you take what you need. You don't take the commercial amount. The focus seems to be the amount. Have a look at the next halachot. You can see it even more. The definition of derech hakotzrim is as the owner would. What does that mean? You take what you need. You realize that you're eating off of everyone else's field as well. Everyone has to share. Since everyone has to share, you take your bit, and then when you need more, you take more. Center. So it seems very clear in the Rambam that right. It seems very clear in the Rambam that the issue when the Torah says it invades what it's saying, don't treat those grapes as yours. Treat them as everyone's. Right? Everyone needs to eat from it. When you pick it, it has to be with the due attentiveness that it's not yours. That's everyone's. Everyone has to share. Mimela, you pick the amount you need. You right. Me'at v'chovet v'ochel. You'll note at the end of the parak, Dalet, just one more halacha, then Rav Baruch. Right. מצוות עשה להשמיט כל מה שתוציא הארץ בשביעית, שנאמר והשביעית תשמטנה ונטשתה. וכל הנועל כרמו, סג שדהו בשביעית, ביטל מצוות עשה. What mitzvah? ונטשתה, right? תשמטנה, whatever, right? You have to allow everyone to treat the field as theirs as well. So it's an isur, isur עשה. וכן אם אסף כל פירותיו לתוך ביתו. Why? Because you didn't put a fence around your field, but you picked everything. So technically, you treated it as your own. You can't say that you were shomet v'notesh if you transgressed one of these two, right? Either you picked everything freely, or you put a fence around, or you fenced it in. יש להביא לתוך ביתו מעט, כדי שמביאים להפקר. יש כדי שמן, 15 כדי יין, ויותר מזה, מותר. So if you took more, it doesn't become asur, you're just over on naseh. Or maybe also alav, right? Maybe also you're over on lotikzo. But does that disqualify it from eating? No, no such thing. It doesn't hold by that, right? Right, you're allowed to eat it b'chol mikra, but there's a certain amount you take your fair share, not beyond your fair share. So also when you say, on the one hand, lo tivtzo, on the other hand, on the other hand, take your fair share. That's all it means, and therefore the shinui, and it seems like the shinui is only referring to that. It means shinui from derech hakotzrim, meaning shinui from the way you do if you own the place. So, just one last point, and then don't worry, Baruch, I did not forget. The Rambam, when he explains the word chariva, he says the place in which you dehydrate. Is that the word? Your figs? Oh. Amazing. I must say, with all the storm that was expected, I said, Dan, I was going to show up tonight. Baruch Hashem. But no, there's no storm, so everyone showed up. I must say, I know there are a few. Yeah. I must say, I think all the. Sorry. Yes. First of all, yes. Don't believe the news. It's all fake news. Everything is fake news. I'm telling you, fake news. So why? Climate change is supposed to be a storm and there isn't. That's climate change. There you go. It's not what you meant. Anyway. Right. So I think all the like everyone who's used to like Hurricane Katrina and all that real the old country we had real storms. Yeah, he's called it a storm. It's not no big deal. Come on, man. Anyway, so Yeah. So I think so I'll just summarize what the main point in the Rambam, I understand it. On the one hand, on the other hand, so you eat, so what you do is you pick as if you're, sorry, the seven. We're not updated yet. You have there's a page over here. You have 8? Oh, yeah. Sorry. So the Rambam's opinion seems to be, you need to allow other people to come eat from there. In order to achieve that, you have to, first of all, not fence it in, not close the gates. You have to allow the gates to be open, first of all. And second, you have to pick your fair share, not beyond that. Whenever it says shinui, we're not talking about shinui in the sense of doing it with your left hand or whatever. We're talking about shinui in the sense that you take a smaller amount. You take the amount you'd take if you were visiting someone else. Because you're, for argument's sake, you're at the, right, the Rambam is the same one who said, we already mentioned, did we? We didn't mention. Okay, so I'll mention. The Rambam has the communal Kiddush approach to Shmita. We see in the 2 places that the issue is we all have to eat off of this together, right? Why are you not to mafsid Polchvit? Why are you not allowed to harm Polchvit? We did mention this. I didn't remember if we mentioned this here or not. That's right. So, right, it's akin to someone who will come and say, "Oh, bottle of water, great. Have a shluck and put it down, and then Corona. So good luck. No one else is going to touch it now, right?" It's just inappropriate, or maybe effectively stealing everyone else's right. Right. So here too, the Rambam says, why do you have to? It's not a matter of you're not allowed to. It's not a matter of some kind of Easter that's imposed on the fruit. It's just you're stealing everyone else's right. And therefore, you have to take the amount that you'll need this week. That's all. From your field, someone else's field. You'll take the amount that's appropriate for, short term.